Well, Vestas has been in Taiwan since 2001, working on onshore wind, but that was relatively small scale. But it's only been a few years since we've really invested substantial amounts for the offshore wind sector. So it's been a big investment for Vestas globally, and the question is what has attracted us to come to Taiwan? And there's a few important points. First, I think most importantly is that the government has set up a policy for offshore wind that is very strong and very long-lasting into the future. So we have a lot of confidence that the current focus on offshore wind is not just a temporary short-term position, but something that's really going to stretch long into the future, and that gives us a lot of confidence to invest here. In addition to a really long-term policy, Taiwan also has some of the best wind resources in the world. Fantastic wind in the Taiwan Strait, and that means that it's a very favorable place to build wind farms, and that attracts a lot of developers who want to build projects here. And the developers are the next part of the puzzle for us. We ultimately need customers, and the customers are the project developers. It's a new industry, so within just a few years of working in offshore wind, you can already establish yourself as someone with experience. We've got a fantastic team here in Taiwan. We have 200 employees, and many of them are here with me in our Taipei office. A lot of very young, talented, smart people that are really passionate about renewable energy and want to dedicate their careers to doing something about climate change and energy independence for Taiwan. So that's a real asset as well. Taiwan, from the beginning, has put a lot of emphasis on creating international partnerships. So attracting experienced players from Europe mainly, but also from elsewhere in the world, to come to Taiwan and work with local players to partner up. And that has brought in a lot of good companies with a lot of experience into the market, and that's something else that we find valuable. Then we have suppliers that are very experienced but have never done offshore wind previously, and that would be companies like Shilin Electric, who make our transformers, or Warsin, who make our cables. Extremely experienced Taiwanese suppliers with a fantastic track record over many decades, but they've never done offshore wind. And we've helped these suppliers qualify their components for the first time for use in our turbines. And that's a big achievement for these suppliers. It's not easy to get qualified to be in a Vestas turbine. You have to go through many steps of quality control, but when you get there, you have a huge potential global supply chain available to you. We locally produce a huge amount of our turbine here. Most notably the blades, the biggest and most defining components of the wind turbine we produce here in Taiwan with our partner Tianli. We also produce the towers, the hubs, the nacelle covers, many components within the nacelle, electrical components, cables, and a huge amount of the rest of the turbine here in Taiwan. And that is quite unusual, and certainly the most localized in the world. So we work with a lot of different local suppliers. And that's also part of the commitment and investment Vestas has made here in developing these skills and developing this supply chain with our local partners. Taiwan is already Asia's leading country in offshore wind. Taiwan, the large semiconductor industry in Taiwan, as well as many other industries, are desperate for more renewable energy. It's a huge demand. Taiwan has a fantastic natural resource of offshore wind. So there's a great opportunity here for Taiwan to really lead Asia's transition to net zero. And I think we're on the right track right now with what's going on. But we can do more. Taiwan should continue to leverage the leadership position that the country has. That means building more offshore wind as quickly as possible. And that also means supporting the supply chain that has developed so far to develop into a competitive supply chain for export. The policy that has been in place to create Taiwan as a leading manufacturing hub for offshore wind has been very successful at creating an industry for Taiwan. But long term, that is not the goal. That's not sustainable. The goal is to become export competitive. And I think that's the next stage of Taiwan's transition to being energy transition, and the next stage of Taiwan's journey as Asia's leading country for the net zero transition. So overall, it's been a fantastic experience for Vestas to work with some of Taiwan's most established industrial companies and help them to enter offshore wind. to develop a local supply chain together in this country.